Hi guys, I'm Carol with Free Spirit Arts. You're in my garage and I'm so excited. So behind me, let me move my camera. Doug has set up, these are 6-foot tables going this way, and I believe they're maybe 3 foot wide, and there's 2 of them. So I have a 6 by 6 plus over here he set me up another one going the other way. This, let me tell you the story, guys. I'm so excited. I hope the camera stays and I hope I don't run out of storage. So this fleece, it's pretty magical to our family. Let me move you up so you can see me. This fleece is off of a ram, a Navajo Churro ram that we had on our farm. Now we have not had our farm for, we estimated, 25 years. His name was Clatsop. He was not born on our farm. I purchased him from a shepherd who raised rare breed sheep. And Clatsop wasn't very old. He didn't have all of his horns, but as he got his horns, we realized he was a 6th horn. So he had 2 horns that came out like this, 2 horns that came this way, and then, let's see, this way I think, and then he had a curl of horns, but his center, the one never developed, and the one that was supposed to be over here was right in the middle of his head, so it came out this way, so he just looked like a unicorn. And it was 3 inches in diameter, huge. He had big, huge horns, and he was a big guy. And you can see this fleece is huge. Well, when we knew we were going to sell the farm, before we sold them, we did one last shearing. And I knew I was not going to be able to have the space and all of that to process all my fleeces. I think I had maybe 25 sheep. Caracal, Colombian, Targhee, we had an alpaca, Navajo Churro, a couple of mixes. We had a blend. And so what we did was we sheared all the sheep. I lightly skirted them and rolled them up, put them in bags, labeled them, and put them in those big metal barrels that has the ring around it and you can screw it up tight. Well, the other day, my studio was getting finished. It's closer than it has been. And I got the bug. I said, let's go dig out those fleeces from the barrel. Now, last year or year before, we went to some of the barrels and dug them out, and I took them in to be processed to a friend who lives just 20 miles away, and she said, they're not viable. The fiber wasn't sturdy enough, it was broken, it'd been subjected to heat and cold, and it just wasn't good. So we had to toss a lot of them out. I have 3 barrels full of fleeces, and they have 3 or 4 or 5 fleeces apiece. I don't know how many I have total. I dug this out along with others the other day, and I gave it what we call a thump test. I'll show you. Hopefully you can hear. He's got a fan going for me because we're going to be 90 today. Well, actually 95. So I gave it the thump test, and that is where you take the end of the lock that was cut next to the skin and the tip. Let's see, do I have that backwards? No. Maybe. No, I don't. And the tip that was, showing in the sun. And you take both of them and you, let me thump it for you, see if you can hear it. Can you hear that? It's like a drum. It goes thump, thump. That's a healthy chunk of fiber. So I tested all of these fleeces, and good news, bad news is they all pass the thump test. I don't hear any crackles. I couldn't break fiber. On some of them, I could break fiber. I want to toss those, I think. But most of them I couldn't. However, when I pull, really pull hard, I can hear a tiny little crackle. That's not good. That threatens the integrity of the fiber, so therefore it threatens the integrity of anything you make. So I bundled them all up. I was heartbroken, and we started putting them in garbage cans. I said that we can't use them. I don't want to go through all that work to clean them and then spin them and have the yarn fall apart, or share it with friends and they can't make what they want to make. And I was heartbroken. So we have, I think, 4 fleeces or 5 that are in the trash, or were. And I put a APB kind of thing out on our spinning group and said, here's the deal. And I told them the story. I said, what do you think, guys? I don't know what to do. I'm having second thoughts about throwing them away. And so many of my friends said, no, take a handful, process it, make a rug. You've got a peg loom, make a rug. Because look how long these locks are. I mean, with the undercoat, they are 8, 9 inches, so you can easily use it on a peg loom. And that's just exactly what I wanted to hear. Thanks, guys. Because I actually thought about it in the night. I thought about all those bags tomorrow's garbage day, and they would have gone out. And I ran out this morning and said, Doug, I can't throw them away. Can we? He said, you want me to dig them back out of the trash? Now, mind you, my husband has moved my fiber, processed, unprocessed, stinky, clean, you name it, he's moved it. Wheels, fiber, everything you have to do with fiber. He's moved it all so many times, I can't even count. And he's always just like, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to move it? Do you want, so, bless him. So he dug it out of the trash for me, and we put it out on the driveway. I have a picture. I hope I can put the picture in the thumbnail of this video. It's bigger than my car. It's huge. It looks like a bear hide. I'm so excited, y'all. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna skirt. Now, this is not a tutorial. I'm a free spirit. I don't heavily skirt fleeces. And by that I mean most of the friends that I know, they throw away the neck, they throw away the legs, they throw away what was on the side of the belly, they throw away the tail stuff and on the back of the legs. And basically they just keep the center, the premium part of the wool that wasn't subjected to the ground and poop and all that stuff. I don't. I go around the fleece. Of course, when they're shearing, I throw away any poop and stuff like that, unless it was beautiful fiber that just needed to be cleaned, because poop does not offend me. So this has been lightly skirted already. It definitely smells like a ram, which I was thinking when I was getting ready, I have a doctor's appointment in 2 hours. What are the chances I'm going to smell like a ram? Yeah, I probably shouldn't be doing this at all. So, like this stuff here, this is like right here on it. It's kind of short, but the underside tells me it's beautiful. That is a beautiful lock. About 4 inches or so. Sounds like a drum. I'm not going to skirt it. It doesn't have any poop on it. But this stuff, this tiny stuff, you may have to stretch your screen. I can show you. This stuff, I have no use for that. Also, this, I can't use it for anything. I guess I could wash it and felt with it, but why? I don't have to. So I'm going to toss it, and I brought, where's it at? My bucket. So I'm just going to go around this fleece, and for instance, this right here, let's see, what end am I at? This is his, right here, can you see that? I hope you can, is, let's see if I had a tail, it's right here on his head, but it kind of goes down his leg. So this was subjected to weather. There's some straw and even bark. I started using bark. The day that we sheared, we would lay down either cedar chips or bark because it's just so much easier to get out of the wool. And when you lay hay down, or straw, it breaks, and so you've got all this little broken stuff. But this is good fiber. In my never to be humble opinion, that is beautiful fiber. I'm not going to throw it away. I know a lot of people would. These guard hairs right here, look how beautiful they are. Spun together, this is going to be blonde, white, browns. There's some gray right here. Now see, I will save this. It's about 3-inch locks, but I'm not going to save that. It's felted. It was closer to his bob, so I'm not going to save it. It's amazing in this art of animal husbandry and spinning and weaving and all of that, the fiber arts. You really do become, even if you didn't raise the sheep, you become attached to the animal. Now I have a decision to make. Underneath is this gorgeous gray. However, it's not very long. I might be wrong. That might be his neck. Let me see. I think it is. Because it's short. But can you see the gray? I would love to save this if I can because of the color way. So I might do that. I don't see balls of felted fiber. Well, yeah, maybe this. And I'll have another opportunity as I wash it to decide, it's just not, it's not going to clean up, it's not going to, but once you toss it, it's gone. So I'm going to save that. See how it's kind of gray and then it goes to cream? That will not wash out. That color is there to stay. There are some what we call second cuts, which is just the shearer was shearing. It's my poor shearer. I don't know anything about shearing, but I know what I want to spin. So I would stand over him and make sure that he was making one pass. And then once I got the fleece, I told him, go ahead and clean her up. I didn't want him going by and going by and going by. Those are called what we call second cuts, or there's another word, I can't think of it. I can't think of it. And a lot of people say the term second cut is only for the neck. I don't know why that is, because I don't know. But you can't really spin second cuts, and a lot of times they're not very clean, and they're just hard to work with. So, yeah, I don't want them in the fleece. And over the years, I developed a mad respect for sheep shearers because it is hard work. Okay, so I've got a decision to make here. You can't maybe tell. Can you see this? All of this was hanging down. What I'm gonna do, now this has animal stuff on it. I'm gonna throw that away. I'm not offended to clean animal stuff. You just put some gloves on. I mean, you know, if you've ever changed a diaper, you know how that is where you just get benign, you forget that you're, you know, wiping up poop. It's all a labor of love. But this is pretty dirty. It's, I don't see a lot of real beautiful locks. There's some really pretty guard hair here. I can't get it out, I'd have to comb it. Well, okay, I'm eating my words because that is a gorgeous lock. So, sew your buttons. So I may keep that and just pull off these 1.5 inch strands. I just have a hard time throwing it away. I just, to me, a fleece from an animal that I raised or not is just a gift. And I feel like along the whole path of preparing it, I want to be grateful for every lock. That's a good lock. And Navajo Churro is a double-coated rare breed. I believe they're protected on the Navajo reservation. And I raised Navajo Churro and coarse wool because I thought when I got into raising sheep and animal husbandry that way, we had horses, and I wanted to make horse blankets. I thought I was a weaver. I thought deep inside me there's a weaver. Well, I found out that weaving entails quite a bit of math. Well, some weaving. And so I really didn't pursue a lot of weaving early when we were raising sheep. However, see, this is a leg. Can you see it? And it has these felted, bobbly things on the end. I'm not going to save those. I don't need them. But I'm not skirting as heavy as some would, like this. A lot of people would throw this away. I'm not saying that's wrong. I just don't want to. Just don't want to. And I'll show you why. Look at this lock. Can you see it against the fiber? It's brown. And it's not disgusting. It has a lot of lanolin in it, which a lot of Navajo Churro fleeces do not have lanolin. But there's no bugs. It's not terribly filthy. I would absolutely save this. See, can you hear the thump? Oh no, look what happened. Yeah, that does not pass the thump test. So this is a broken fiber. The fibers are broken. Usually when that happens, it's the whole fleece, but this is the leg. So yeah, I'm not gonna save it. Bummer, dang it. But that's why I wanted to bring it in the garage or somewhere, because I wanted to, I'm changing my mind. Now I'm going to be a little more aggressive with skirting because these edges are not good. I wanted to save the color, but if it's just going to break when you spin it, washing it, carding it, all that, it's a lot of work, so I don't want to work and then throw it away. I've done that. It looks like I've got it down to where decisions. If I don't take this off now, through the wash process, this bad fiber will get mixed in with the good, and you won't know until you start spinning it, and then you'll have yarn that breaks just like that lock did, and I don't want that. So I think I've got it pretty well skirted. I've got most of the brown off. Let's pull a lock down here and see if it's healthy. It's not breaking. I mean, the tips are not breaking. If I pull with all my might, I can't break it. I think I'll stop there and keep going around. I'm really trying not to get too cozy with this animal, this fleece, because I do have an appointment later. And it's kind of like skunk. You know, once you get it on you, it's oily. It's full of lanolin, and it's pretty hard to get off once you get it on you. That's why I'm wearing gloves. Normally, I probably wouldn't wear. Well, that's not true. Of late, I have started wearing gloves because these are old fleeces, and even though our animals were healthy, there's still a chance when you're dealing with animal stuff, you know, there's germs and stuff, and I don't know, I kind of just feel funny about, let me show you, this is a good example of, I feel funny about messing with fiber and then cooking dinner, you know. So this is a really good example of double coats. See how this down here looks soft, and it is actually. And then this is almost, it's wiry. It's very coarse, it's like horsehair. And that is probably 4 inches, and this is probably 3, and it covers more than my hand. So what I will do, if I don't make a rug, what I will do is pull these guard hairs out and save them. Let me see if I can break this. I don't hear a crackle. I can't break it. I'm keeping it. We had, when we bought our farm, the gal that we bought it from, her and her partner raised rare animals. They had rare sheep, rare cattle. She had the semen shipped in from Europe or somewhere, I can't remember. They were red and black, and I didn't know anything about cows at that time. And she also had these sheep. Not this guy, but she had sheep. And I kept asking the realtor through the process of buying her home, could we buy the animals? Because she was moving back east somewhere. So I wanted to know, was she selling any the animals? And there was a gray silver ram. You have probably heard me talk about him. His name was Lincoln. He wasn't Lincoln Fiber. His name was Lincoln. And he was a Navajo Churro ram, and he was her ram for her flock. Well, she did sell me him, and when we closed on the papers, and she was gone, and we went out to the farm for the first time, she left these. At the time, I didn't know a sheep from a goat, honestly. I mean, I really was so ignorant of what I had. And there was, excuse me, half a dozen or so of these sheep running around. And I would go out and try to feed them and cuddle them and get friends with them, and they were wild. They bounced like antelopes, just straight up, boing, boing, and they jumped over 6-foot fences. They were over at the neighbors. They were out in the street. I was, and I thought, well, they're just upset because she's gone, it's going to take them time. Well, I later found out, because I was worried about them getting water and all of that. And I later found out that they were called Barbados. And they're a hair sheep, not necessarily what you would call a wool sheep. And their hair, they actually shed their hair. So you don't shear them, they just shed it off. Can you see what I'm doing? Just barely, huh? Let me turn you. And we gave it a good college try to keep them at the farm, to feed them, to give them their shots, and try to make sure that they had a good life. And I finally just threw up my hands and said, all done. Because they would jump the fence into the garden. You would be getting ready for work in the morning, and they would leave the neighbors, or God, they were such a pain. And they wanted no part of us or anybody else. So we sold them to a Basque shepherd who had some sheep, and he said he would take them. So that was good. That was my first introduction that not all these animals are going to be cuddly. So I can't even tell you how excited I am to have my hands on Clatsop again. Oh, I was going to tell you the story. So, the silver ram, his name was Lincoln, and he was a doll. He would come up and nuzzle you, and he had black horns, and he had 2 horns. I don't think he had 4 horns. He had 2. Big guy, silver, almost blue. He kind of looked blue with just gorgeous. He was beautiful and so friendly. You could open the gate and he'd just walk around. He was, you know, so big. And he got along with everybody, all the chickens, the horses. He didn't bother anybody. When we got Clatsop, that was a different story. Clatsop had this horn that came out of the center of his forehead, and he had decided that he wasn't going to be friends with Lincoln. So he and Lincoln would go literally head to head. And if you've ever heard sheep crash their horns, it sounds like a crack of thunder. And oh, I would just freak. They're gonna kill each other. He's gonna split his head open because Clatsop had this big horn here, which is not a fair fight. And he would ram Lincoln in his sides. So it was always a thing. Separating them and making sure that Lincoln had girls to be around. Because if he didn't have girls, he would freak. So, but we loved Lincoln. And we did try to amputate his, we actually did take off that center horn, but it was so traumatic for me and for him that we just decided, when it started to grow back, we went, oh, just leave it. It didn't hurt him to grow it. Okay. If it pulls off easy, I'm just taking it. Just going around, seeing if there's anything hanging. And, you know, this is not what I see other people do. I see other people, you know, really take off all of this stuff. There's not a thing wrong with that at all. I'm just trying to basically decide, do I want to deal with that? You know, it's really dirty, or it's not any good, or whatever. You know, like this pump right here, I don't think I like it. I thought I was going to save it, but I'm not going to. That one I can save. And it definitely stinks. It smells like a lamb. Once you have that smell in your nostrils, you're going to smell it for days. What I might do, hi guys, what I might do with this is cut it kind of in half and find a big tote and see if I can wash large amounts so that I can keep these locks intact. Because if I decide to use a peg loom, I can just take a lock like this and wrap it like that around the peg loom. So I would have a rug that has this. And so it kind of looks like a regular hide because you have all this fuzzy stuff. After you use it and wash it and stuff, this felts over time and you end up with kind of just this little part that sticks up. I don't know. I've never used a peg loom before. I've watched a lot of it, but I've never used it. Look at this caramely color. Oh. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh. Okay, guys. Well, it's getting to me. I might go around it one more time But the odor is kind of strong. I think I'm going to open up things and go get myself cleaned up to go see the doctor. And I'll just have to walk in and say, if I smell like a sheep, it's because I do. Here's the story. Thanks a lot for watching, you guys. I hope you had fun looking at this fleece and my plans and stuff. I know a lot of you are paper crafters and with me, and I love that, but sorry guys. So many people said, oh my gosh, I've never seen that. I've always wondered what that's all about. So that's it. That's Clatsop. So now you're going to hear me talk about Clatsop probably forever, because I'm going to wash his fleece, I'm going to card his fleece, I'm going to spin or weave or whatever I decide to do. So when I talk about Clatsop, you'll know exactly what Clatsop was all about. Clatsop and Lincoln didn't get along, but they were our two. Clatsop, well, we had lots of favorites, but they were our rams and we loved them a lot. So I hope you like meeting Clatsop and seeing my plans for his fleece. And I'm 1 subscriber away from 1,500. If you're watching this, would you mind pushing that sub button? It doesn't cost a thing, and it keeps me excited watching the subbies grow and getting to meet everybody and getting fiber people on my channel. I'm really excited about that. Let's all take care of each other, guys. Thanks again. Bye.